The following is the Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. Well, good morning, Adam. We have
good morning.
A new week and a new song to play for you.
All right, let's
you ready?
do it.
All right,
yeah.
This I'll tell you the artist and the song name because I'm pretty sure you won't know either. But now you have to tell me what team uses this as their walkout music, all right, in the Premier League. There's one team. The artist is named Craig Armstrong. The song is called Escape, and it sounds like something out of Star Trek. And here we go. Okay, it reminds me a little bit of like the remember the Bulls used to use the Alan Parsons Project Sirius intro. It kind of has that vibe to it a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which team are we talking about here?
Oh, it's a good one. I mean, I'll just throw one out that we haven't spoken about. Would it be like Brighton?
That's a good guess, but it's Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, really?
And during the games, they use Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. So a little different vibe there, but they walk out to that.
Absolutely. I would much prefer to walk out to Crazy Train. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. We walk out to this one.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So we are back for another week of Free Kicks with Adam and Rick. And since we already talked about Villa and their opening theme song, which I'm going to say maybe not the best choice. I just of all of them we've heard so far, probably my least favorite.
I would say so.
But big changes at Villa this week. What do you say?
Massive. They've done. I mean, I'm looking at all the transfers that they've been involved in. At least 20 players have either come in or been loaned out or transferred out. What a really, really historic transfer window for Villa, and obviously two big ones to talk about.
Well, yeah, Marcus Rashford. That's the big one. We talked about him last week and how he somehow was still there at Manchester United. We knew something had to give, and something did give. He had a bunch of options, and he chose to stay in the Premier League and go to Aston Villa.
Yeah, big move for him. Obviously, he's definitely been kind of given the cold shoulder by the new Man United boss, Amorim, and it's probably finding out that, well, he's surplus to requirements is what they say these days. So looks like he's having to find a place. This is a good starting point. He's being loaned out. I'm not sure if there is the possibility to buy after that, but I'm sure if he does well, there would be an opportunity to maybe make it permanent.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 27. Right, seems like he'd be a lot older than that because he's been around since he was, 17 basically, or 18.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of mileage under him, but there's no reason why he can't re-find himself at Aston Villa. I think it's a good gamble on their part.
Oh, absolutely. I think, and I think it works out that I think they're paying 75%. So I think Man United's still on the hook for a little bit of the wage, but it probably helped that they got a good chunk of money from another transfer, and then they was able to get another person in as well in a loan.
Well, you want to talk about that chunk of money that they got?
Yeah, Mr. John Duran. Yeah. So pretty amazing how much he went in for. So transfer out, I mean, I think it was in the region of around £70 million.
Yeah, 71 million.
So that's not a bad piece of business for them, considering they bought him from the Chicago Fire for $10 million.
Yeah.
So that's a nice, tasty profit. So yeah, it's good. It was really good.
And he's going to Saudi Arabia. So he's going to be teammates with Cristiano Ronaldo and Sadio Mane in Riyadh.
Yes.
So, I guess he gets to play with some of his heroes, but that's where careers go to die, that Saudi Arabian league. I really don't get it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I certainly get it because of it's just a financial piece.
Yeah.
And so John Duran, obviously, this is life-changing for him.
True.
But is it, from a financial standpoint, but is it career suicide? Not to put it in a kind of a dramatic term there, but in that respect, that might be the tough part about it. But he has played on a Colombian team that he probably feels he's probably still got a pretty good chance of continuing to play on, maybe in the World Cups and stuff. So maybe he's seen it as a pretty good gamble.
He is young. He's a lot younger than I thought. If this report here is correct, he's 21.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a youngster. Yeah, he's a youngster. So let's say he puts 4 years in, he still comes in at the peak of his time, 25 or so.
Yeah, that's
makes
true.
A little bit of cash. You never know. Could be. He'd be a player that could get picked up well, especially in the next few years from another Premier League team. I'm sure a Premier League team would definitely take a gamble on it.
That's true. The other big move that they brought in at Villa is Marcus Asensio, who three-time Champions League winner with Real Madrid, currently was with PSG, midfielder. Another big move. He's a big-time player.
Big time. I think this was kind of the under the radar biggest one of the whole transfer market. This guy is a perennial winner. Has obviously done fantastically well. Plays on the Spanish national team. Yeah, he's going to be a really good one. Not sure what happened at Madrid there in terms of what was going on and what maybe wasn't getting as much time as he needed, but maybe a fresh challenge. And I'm always excited when top level Spaniard players come over to the Premier League because it's just going to raise the level for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we'll see how all these moves take place at Villa. They've got a couple other guys, but those are the big ones, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Those are the big ones, and I think they're going to be really, really big in terms of it. A couple of other ones, to be fair, another loan in. The other ones we could mention was Axel Disasi from Chelsea. Mm-hmm. He came in, so that was another. And Bendia, who went out to Leverkusen. But yeah, they've done some good business.
They have. They're not the only ones. Tottenham, I thought, pulled an interesting little move. Everyone needs center backs, right? And Kevin Tanzo from Austria was out there. And the Wolves, who were also looking for a center back, were getting ready to sign him. In fact, they had him there in Wolverhampton. He had taken his physical, and then Tottenham swoops in and steals him for 25 million pounds and signed him to a long-term deal through June 2030.
Yeah. So as you are the Austrian football expert, what do you think of this one? I think it could be a really good one, especially with him being so young. I think he is 26, right? So seems like it's a good one. Obviously, they're struggling in centre back. That seems to be a big problem for him. Yeah,
he's quite good. That's I know I was looking around at center backs around the world just because I was worried Virgil van Dijk would be leaving at the end of this year, and he's one of the ones I was looking at, thinking, well, maybe they could get him.
Yeah,
but I think it looks now like Virgil van Dijk's about to sign.
Oh, wow, that'd be huge. That'd be huge.
That's the rumble in my Liverpool Twitter feed, which is never right.
Of course. But yeah, this is a good one. He's an international starter for Austria. I think he could definitely help about. Centre back is a position that they've obviously struggled with. There's no question about that.
I've seen him play in Austria. I mean, in Berlin. I was there for the Euros. I saw Austria play against Netherlands, and he had a great game.
There you go. Good one. Good one for Tottenham. Tottenham gets it right.
Yeah.
Put that in the headline for the story this week. Tottenham gets it right.
No, I don't think I will. Manchester City has been a very active during this transfer window section here. They added 4 players, and according to my reporting, they spent nearly as much money as the entire rest of the Premier League combined in January. Wow,
that's a lot. That's a good chunk of change for sure.
It's a good thing they're not under investigation for using their money on
That's true. That's
incorrectly.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, they've got some quality players, and we've already seen a couple of them step in.
Yeah,
I think the Marmoush is going to be a big time player for them. I think he showed in the game against Chelsea how good he can be just running at defenders. I think he's going to be a good one. Kusanov is a young player. I'm sure that'll take a little while to get used to going a little bit. But I think those for me, those ones stand out. And obviously, Kyle Walker leaving, so that kind of opens up a spot. But didn't really help them this past weekend, though. That's the only thing.
No, we can talk about that. I mean, they'll need it because they lost 5-1 to Arsenal. Now, Arsenal is number 2 in the league, so it's but they're without several of their big stars right now. Yeah. Arsenal is injury depleted. Arsenal is what I'm calling them, but they looked pretty damn good last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, it was surprising and missed some opportunities. Mr. Havertz missed an open goal as well. So could it be more than 5? There's no question.
Has he ever missed an open one like that before?
I think I've seen him do it a few times with Chelsea. Yeah, must be the German in him. But what's amazing is that they didn't sign a striker. I was really thinking that this was going to be a big transfer for Arsenal. I even think that even Arteta kind of came out and said he was a little disappointed that they didn't do anything in the transfer window. So yeah, it's a tough one. I thought they might do something, but didn't happen.
Yeah. So any other notable changes as we head into the home stretch here of the Premier League season?
No, I mean, I think when you look at the whole thing, I mean, I'm glad for some of the Chelsea players that have been struggling, like Ben Chilwell got loaned out to Crystal Palace. Joao Felix, who never really kind of got back to it. I mean, he'd been back and forth with Felix. We've signed him. Now we've loaned him out again to AC Milan. So that's been a big one. And then locally from Chicago, actually, Chelsea recalled Gabi Slanina. He's out of Addison, Illinois, not too far from us.
Oh, really?
He was with Barnsley, so they recalled him back. So maybe there's a thought process. And they have had a goalie change this past weekend.
Right.
So Sanchez is out. So that was a couple of big ones for my team. I think otherwise than that, when you look at some of these other big time kind of changes, I think Manchester City, they were the big winners. Certainly, you can definitely say Aston Villa were the big ones as well, and a lot of the others were just kind of fill-ins, kind of getting things set for the remainder of the year. But I think we've definitely hit on the big ones.
Okay. All right, so the Champions League has been going on the last few weeks, and we mentioned that we'd be talking about it this week, and we really should talk about it because we're now down to the next round. 8 teams have a bye in this next round. Is that right? Is that how that works?
It's a little confusing, especially because it's kind of bracketed the way it is. So they're in the round of 16, or I should say the round of 16 possible fixtures. So you've got these playoff games to get into the round of 16.
Right.
But depending on how these teams do, they may play a different team in the round of 16. So it's kind of a high seed, low seed situation. And you see that in some tournaments where if they are the higher seed, then they will play the lowest possible team. So Liverpool would look to play the worst team that comes out of the playoffs. That's basically how it works. Worst ranked team anyway.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, some heck of some games there when you look at it for the playoffs, which will be really fun.
That's true. Let's talk quickly, though, about the 8 that don't have to worry about this next round. And that is, all right, there's 3 of them, 3 English teams. They did quite well. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Villa are in the final 8, or the final 16. They've gotten to the next round. Then there's Barcelona, Inter, Atletico, Leverkusen, and Lille, who played way better than anybody thought they would play.
Yeah.
So those are the 8 that are in. Now, let's take a look at some of these games. We've got Brest versus PSG. That's a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Manchester City versus Real Madrid. That is the game.
There's no question. That could have been a final. It should have been a final.
In fact, it was, wasn't it?
Was it last year? No, maybe a semi-final.
Or
I
have to go back.
Yeah, but you're right. It should be a final. There's no question. And when you think about where Man City were, like the 22nd ranked team against Real Madrid, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So that's the one that we're going to be watching for sure. But there's other good ones. Monaco versus Benfica is decent. Celtic versus Bayern. You got Bruges versus Atalanta. Juventus.
Brugge.
Oh, that's right. We changed the name. It's like it was Kiev forever. Now it's Kiev. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. We just make it more difficult. When did you change your name? Oh, just last week. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, call me Reich. I'm not Rick anymore. I'm Reich. You got Juventus versus PSV.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Sporting versus Dortmund. That's a real good one. And then Feyenoord. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or
Feyenoord. Either way, I'm okay with either one. Yeah.
Versus Milan. So any what of those other games? Which the ones that you're going to look for?
I think that Juventus PSV could be a good one, and then you never know, an upset might be on the card. Celtic Bayern. I know you want your Bayern to win that one, but that could be an interesting game. But yeah, I think everybody's going to be focused on Man City, Real Madrid. That's going to take all the highlights for sure.
Right. And Real Madrid, they don't finish that high in the opening rounds usually, and I think this is one of their sneaky tricks that they've been. They don't really give it their all in the beginning, so that they get an easier path. You know what I mean? And then this year they got burned on this. Now they're playing Man City, so they're both they're both in the same boat. So it couldn't happen to a nicer team.
Exactly. Hey, both teams, they've got billions of dollars worth of players, and now they're playing in the playoffs. Craziness.
Right. Do you know when those games are going to be taking place?
Those will be next week. So they'll be playing next week. So, so you'll have the knockout phases. I think they play 2 legs. So they're ranked 9 through 16 were seeded against the unseeded teams. So actually Man City is the unseeded team against Real Madrid, which is crazy. And then the seeded team, which is Real Madrid, because they were highest, they will host the second leg. And then it's the greater aggregate score. So there's no away goals rule, and they will advance to the round of 16. If they need to, they'll go to extra time and penalties if the aggregate score is tied. So, so it should be some good games.
Okay. It's time for the weird stat of the week. I was looking through the Premier League. I saw a game that featured a rather let's say a diminutive fellow playing, and I was wondering, who is the shortest player in the Premier League? Would you like to guess at that?
Wow, that's a great question. Shortest player in the Premier League.
I'll give you a hint. He plays for Brighton.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think I might know it. Lamptey.
That's
Tariq
right.
Lamptey.
He's 5'4", which is pretty small. Ryan Fraser from Southampton is also 5'4", and Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri from Arsenal is 5'5". He doesn't play much, but that's the.
That's an interesting one. Well, the funny thing with Tariq, if people watch the highlights this past week, he actually gave up a penalty on a corner. I don't know if you saw. He actually wrestled some guy that was quite a bit taller than him to the ground and gave up a really dumb penalty kick. So I don't know what that was about. But yeah, so Tariq, he may be small, but he's feisty.
That's true. You know, the shortest guy on Liverpool is Diego Jota, and that guy gets all the head balls. I don't know how it happens, but kids, for you kids out there, your height should not be something that holds you back.
Exactly right. It's easy to score headers when you can find space. That's right. Amazing. Mm-hmm.
All right. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a nonprofit corporation, official state association, and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the U.S. Soccer Federation Olympic Development Program, and administers U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org.
Okay, time for another feature.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
So, this week's Premier League star is 27 years old. He's been around. He's a left winger or a forward, and he currently wears number 14. So, by the way, I tried this out on my son Sean yesterday because, he's a big talker about how good he is at this.
Yeah.
He didn't get it until the very end either. So
you see what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot easier when,
It's not, it's the bright lights, it's like the everything is. It's so easy just to do it when there's no pressure.
Exactly.
When you're under the pressure that I'm on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Nobody knows the trouble he's seen. Yeah. 27-year-old left winger, currently wearing number 14. He's with his first Premier League club, and it's his first Premier League season, but he is a superstar in his home country.
Superstar, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
In fact, his father was also a star.
So his dad played.
He's played over 200 games in his native land, the land of pasta and wine.
So it has to be Italian.
Yes.
Italian player, number 14.
He's played over 50 games with his national team.
Okay. Well, I was thinking, it was somebody else, but that's Originally, I was thinking of within Newcastle. I don't think he wears number 14, and I don't think he's played 50 times. That was.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. They're Italian guy. Yeah. They're the guy that was banned for betting or whatever.
Tonali.
That's it.
There's not much there in terms of groups there. So so 14 Italian.
Despite being a renowned international superstar, he can't get any playing time with his current team. He usually plays in meaningless FA Cup games or Carabao Cup games or Champions League games.
So, playing in the Champions League. So he's got to be playing with a team that's doing very well, would you say?
Uh-huh. Yes, I would.
And I would, and again, you don't really know that he's really part of the squad.
Right. He never plays, really, in the Premier League. Rarely.
And if I remember, he was fantastic in the Euros.
He was. He was like one of the players of the entire tournament.
Yeah, I remember. I was just like, we got to get that guy. Yeah. He's really good. So why is he not playing?
Because there's too many good players.
Doesn't make any sense. But it's got to be Federico Chiesa.
That's the guy. Do you remember his dad?
I do, absolutely. Fantastic player back in the day. What an amazing player in terms of what he was. Enrico.
Yeah. Enrico and Federico.
Yes. really good, really good. But,
all right.
Yeah, it's funny. I completely lost track of him. Did not even realize he was in the squad. So that's pretty impressive.
He played the whole game for Liverpool during the Champions League. That last game where they didn't even have to win it. So he played 90 minutes and he played quite well. I mean, he's still good. He's still good, but he can't break in when he's got like all those. Cody Gakpo plays ahead of him. He's got some players ahead of him. Mo Salah. I mentioned Jota. There's Nunez. There's, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get on the field when you're a forward at Liverpool. But
yeah, for sure.
Good to have him there. All right, It's time for another feature.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
Okay, now there's no Premier League fixtures this weekend.
Yeah. So it's kind of a tricky one in terms of kind of the games to watch, because these are all going to be scattered around. I believe most of them are on ESPN. So we'll have to kind of see how this works. But I think there's some good ones. There's no question about
ESPN Plus, probably, right?
ESPN Plus. I apologize. Thanks for clarifying. So when you look at some of the games, I always go down, when I look at the list, I look at the lower level teams. Like, for example, Saturday, Leyton Orient plays Manchester City. Should be a good one. I mean, that's going to be a barn burner. That's going to be an early one, though, 6:15 kickoff for you. And then you got Plymouth Argyle, who were languishing at the bottom of the championship, just fired their manager. You may have heard of him, Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
And they've been playing better since he's been gone.
That's funny.
They're playing Liverpool, so that should be a good one on Sunday. But when I look at these teams and I think it's how things can change, I think probably the biggest game of the actual weekend, probably when you look at it, might be an all Premiership game. And I'm going to go with Brighton Hove Albion at home after just being drubbed 7-0. They're going to be on some type of a recourse here to hopefully turn things around, but they're playing my Chelsea, so I'm going to watch out for that one. So I think that could be a really good one. That's a 2:00 kickoff on Saturday.
Blue and white versus blue and white.
Yes, for sure.
All right, yeah, check that out for sure. Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. We had a big weekend this past weekend. One of our board members, Mike Falkers, was given an award by the Village of Mount Prospect, the Shining Star Award, because he runs our Top Soccer program, which I know is run out of the IYSA.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that Top Soccer, because it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, so we feed into, obviously, US Youth Soccer, and Top Soccer stands for the Outreach Program for Soccer. It's basically a recreational sports program for children with and adults with any type of emotional, physical, intellectual disabilities. And everybody who has a U.S. youth soccer affiliated club will run a program. Green White does that. I think we have a whole bunch. Chicago Top Soccer, they different names, different clubs will have different groups within it. Yeah. And if anybody's interested, you can certainly contact me. We'll definitely guide them in the right spot if they have a club group in the Chicagoland area or even in the state of Illinois that have interest in doing it. But it is definitely work well done by people like Mike, who do such a tremendous job creating these inclusive environments for maybe kids that maybe not have the opportunities to do that. So, and it's certainly close to my heart too, because my brother, who lives in England, he also runs a program as well. It's not called Top Soccer, it's called Inclusive Soccer, but he's also running a program back home. So, yeah, congrats to Mike, and pretty awesome.
Well, this is God's work, if you ask me, because I've been out to a couple of these Top Soccer programs as a buddy and helped out a few times, and it's just wonderful to see these kids that never get to play, couldn't play in a regular league. And, some of them have, some severe disabilities, and just a chance to get out there and kick the ball around with other kids that are like them. It's just a wonderful program. And if you have a child like that, I really encourage you to participate if you can.
Yeah.
All right, we have people to thank. We need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasano. Thanks, Tony, with Opie Productions. Also, Ed Silla with the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. He's our distributor. Thanks very much for doing that, because everyone knows that Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place, radiomisfits.com. And we're going to watch our FA Cup games, and we're going to be back again next week.
Yes,
definitely. For a brand new episode of Free Kicks.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at radiomisfits.com. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?